Hello and welcome to the #1 Championship podcast. The second tier, I'm Ryan Dilks, and this is our reaction straight off the back of Middlesbrough's 2-1 win away at Sheffield United this Monday night. A fantastic game of football, a lot to talk about, but the headline of this game being that we have new leaders at the top of the Championship for the first time since the 4th of October. A lot to talk about over this next half an hour. Of course, as always, I'm joined by the Keir Starmer to my Gus Harmer. It's Justin Peach.
Good day to you, Ryan.
Wow, Justin, what an evening of football we've just been served up. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, what a game of football. It was like giving a 3-year-old a Red Bull that first 20 minutes. It was just non-stop. It was such a brilliant game to watch, and it's very rare that, especially in an evening game on Sky, that a championship game can really pull you in the first 5 or 10 minutes. But it could have been 3-3 after 15 minutes. It was such a good game, chances galore, end to end, everything you want in a Monday night game that isn't ruined by the top flight.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely spot on. It's the biggest cliche of all, isn't it? But that was a fantastic advert for the Championship. And considering what was at stake in this game as well, we have got a lot to discuss over the next half hour. But if you are joining us live for this half hour, live on YouTube this Monday night, then first of all, thank you for joining us. Get involved in the conversation. Leave a comment with any thoughts that you have on that game, any questions that you have from what we've just watched. We'll try to read out as many as we can over the forthcoming half an hour or so. And as always, like this video and subscribe, please. It's the best way to help support us and the work we do here at the second tier. But let's get into the game, Justin, because as you say, the first 20 minutes in particular of this game were unbelievable, weren't they? Sheffield United came flying out of the blocks, but you would say that Middlesbrough actually had the two best chances. Tommy Conway missing a big chance, then Morgan Whittaker having a diving header, which he put straight at the keeper. And then, despite it being against the run of play, Middlesbrough scored, but it was also deserved because they probably had the better chances. A bit of a strange one, but Tommy Conway putting Middlesbrough ahead after some brilliant football. That was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 3 passes, wasn't it? It was beautiful, beautiful football. The pass into Whittaker, the touch inside, and then Conway having the composure. I think Don Goodman said in commentary that Tommy Conway probably took one too many touches, and then he retracted it. But I still think Conway took one too many touches.
I know what you mean. The one touch he took before the shot, in most cases, I think would have
it gets blocked.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But he managed to still get it off and get it through Sariki's legs in the end, pretty much, didn't he?
It was a really good finish, and his run was brilliant. And again, I think him missing that big chance sort of 7 minutes earlier, I thought it was criminal. He should have got it on target, but he made up for it and he had a good game in the end. But that football there was just, it was peak Hellberg ball. Hellball, that's it. Hellball. Yeah. It was fantastic, and that's what we've come to get used to under Kim Hellberg, and it was beautiful stuff, really was.
Yeah, and the goal took the wind out of Sheffield United's sails for about a 10-minute spell, I would say. They did get a couple of efforts not too long after that. Patrick Bamford hitting the side netting after a great pass by Gus Harmer. Gus Harmer then himself forcing a magnificent save by Salt Britain. Like, I don't think you can underestimate how big a save that was, not just in the grand scheme of the game, but for him to get down as well as he did for that was an astonishing bit of goalkeeping. And it proved to be crucial because just before half-time, Middlesbrough doubled their lead with Riley McGree heading home after a Hayden Hackney shot hit the post. A bit of a strange goal because he had to rise like a salmon to get it in, but reacted brilliantly, didn't he, to get Middlesbrough doubling their leads before half-time.
Yeah, and this is the weird thing. I don't think Sheffield United did a hell of a lot wrong in that game at all. I really don't. And that second goal was so important because I think it was just 5 minutes before I was thinking, I think the camera panned to Kim Hellberg on the sideline, and he wasn't looking nervous, but his brow was furrowed a little bit. He was a little bit stressed, and I was thinking then you probably need a second goal to win this because the amount of goals that Sheffield United have been scoring at home lately. And lo and behold, 5 minutes later, they get it. And it is Riley McGree rising really, really high. I love Riley McGree. I think he transforms this Boro team into something else when he plays. He's just so hampered by injuries. But him getting that goal it was well deserved, because them taking that 2-0 lead into the half time was absolutely massive.
Yeah, and to echo your point, James has a comment here saying Sheffield United didn't do a whole lot wrong, but Boro looked unplayable. Cov are light years off Boro right now. Yeah, we'll talk about that more in a sec. But I think you're absolutely right, and I think James is right as well. Sheffield United, despite finding themselves 2-0 down for most of this game, actually played quite well. It was just Middlesbrough were in top form, as they have been now for
but I still think
many games. The second half got underway, and Sheffield United did start pretty well in the second half. The closest they came really was Callum O'Hare flashing the ball across goal very early on in the second half, and they kept huffing and puffing without having much success. They did pull one back after Patrick Bamford got on the end of a brilliant assist by Gus Harmer, with Calvin Phillips getting the assist for the assist. I think it is worth taking note of. Yeah, absolutely. And Sheffield United took a bit of encouragement from that. Tyrese Campbell firing a very fair shot at Solbrin, forcing another big save from him. But then the game is pretty much over, really, after a red card for Joe Rothwell in the 80th minute on his Sheffield United debut. I'm going to put that down as probably the right decision, Justin.
Yes. Enough forcing that challenge to take out 2 or 3 people, let alone poor Alan Brown, who took the absolute brunt of it. I think you can put it down to adrenaline pumping within Joe Rothwell. Home debut, Bramall Lane. He's trying to get back into the game. He's just gone a bit too hard.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, maybe he was just trying to make a good impression on his debut. I don't know.
It was the Chris Wilder grimace. The camera panned to Chris Wilder, and he knew exactly. Then he's like, "Ooh, it's a red card."
Yeah, I don't think you can have much complaints about that, can you? Because it was forceful, to say the very least, didn't it? Sheffield United did come close a couple of times. Patrick Bamford had a brilliant little bit of skill, which was blocked by Adelson Melando at the last minute. But apart from that, that was about it. Sheffield United couldn't get that crucial equaliser, and Middlesbrough escaped Bramall Lane with 3 massive points. And the celebrations at full time, Justin, I think really go to show how big a result this was for Middlesbrough, not just because, of course, it's taken them to the top of the league, which we'll discuss more shortly, but going to Bramall Lane and getting a result like that after playing superbly. Yeah, an unbelievable 90 minutes for Middlesbrough.
But it's just the manner of the performance, because they were scintillating going forward in the first half. Just generally, they were brilliant in the first half, and in the second half, I thought they managed the game really, really well. Like I said, you need a second goal at Bramall Lane to win it at the very least, and they got that, and that ended up being the cushion that got them through, because I think it was inevitable that Sheffield United were going to try and get back in it some way, and they did. And actually, I thought the way they managed it was really good, and they were throwing bodies on the line. I thought Sheffield United they were getting into good positions, but there were just bodies in the way, and that was really, really positive. And that's why you come away from that and go, that is a bloody big 3 points in the grand scheme of things. When you're pushing for the title, when you're pushing for promotion, that win is massive, absolutely massive.
Yeah, 100%, and it's a statement win, isn't it? As big a statement win as it's going to get, because Middlesbrough were unbelievable away at one of the toughest teams in the division. I know they're 16th in the table, but they're a lot better than 16th in the table, aren't they? And you're absolutely right. I think everyone to a man put in a brilliant performance, particularly Sol Brinning goal, who pulled off 2 magnificent saves, particularly that one from Gus Harmer. I cannot emphasise how big a save that was in the moment. And that's why right now you've got to say Boro are deservedly top of the league, but we'll discuss all that shortly. We've got some more comments here. This is from Lee, who says the toughest place to go in the Championship, and we play like that. Unbelievable performance by Boro. Jonathan says superb win for the Boro. The first time all season I've dared to believe it might be our season. This one is from Mandrews, who says we were good value for the win. Some of our play was absolutely filthy. Bring on Cov. UTS. SUFB. I'll let you guess what the acronym is there. But if you are enjoying tonight's show, ladies and gents, then now is the perfect time to sign up for the second tier YouTube membership community, where for just £4.99 a month, you'll get custom emojis to use in these live streams and the comments section of every YouTube video. You'll also get access to the second tier Discord, where you can chat to us and loads of other Championship fans. And in addition to that, you'll get an exclusive bonus video from us every single week. All you need to do is hit the join icon right next to the subscribe button. And if you are watching us live tonight, then continue to leave comments and any questions that you have or any thoughts on the game which you've just watched, as soon as we'll try to read out as many as we can as we try to dissect the remaining bit of this game. But Justin, as I say, for the first time since the 4th of October, we have a new leader in the Championship, and it is Middlesbrough. And you've got to say, with the form that they've been in, they've won 6 in a row now. You've got to say it's thoroughly deserved based off their recent form and how brilliant they've been since Kim Hellberg's come in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first 4 games and the next few games after that winning streak he had when he first came in, Hellberg, things were looking a bit tough. And people were expecting, okay, well, no, we'll find with the playoffs. But actually, the way it's turned around again is tremendous. And we've spoken extensively in recent weeks about how they win games. They can win games by coming from behind. They can, they get pegged back at West Brom and they win it late. It's just that mentality, that drive and mentality. You cannot buy that, especially at this stage of the season. Good grief. Like the mentality, the confidence, for example, going into that Coventry game, the difference in confidence between Middlesbrough and Coventry now. Coventry is rock bottom. Middlesbrough as high as you can possibly get. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And that transformation is down to Kim Hellberg. There's a feel-good factor, but actually, it's not just winning games. They're performing brilliantly. They are so good to watch. They're
playing their best football of the season now, pretty much, aren't they?
Yeah. And that first half was some of the best attacking play I've seen all season. It was really, really good. And that's it's going back to when Coventry was scoring goals for fun. Boro were incisive, but they were methodical in what they were doing. They were the Morgan Whittaker, the first goal. The Morgan Whittaker going into that space in that channel was fantastic movement, and then the instinct to know where Conway's run is it's good stuff. It's really good stuff, and this is well coached, and everything's improved under Hellberg to what it was under Rob Edwards, and that's good coaching. It's good philosophy, and it's confidence.
Yeah, well, you look at the 2 teams who have been top of the table for pretty much the entire season. You've got one who have been up there, but are now playing better than they have been all season long. And you've got the other one who, as we all know, aren't playing at their best right now. But that's all down to Kim Hellberg, who has just taken this Boro team to a new level. I mean, which is impressive enough considering, as we say, they've been in the top 2 pretty much all season. But he has come in and just taken everyone's game to a whole new level. They are absolutely ruthless, aren't they? Even though they did take, at various stages of this game, they were perhaps having their backs touching the wall. I wouldn't say their backs were up against the wall, but they were, leaning against it every so often. But they just managed to find a way to bounce back and, get a little jab in here and there and really rock Sheffield United like they did here. And we cannot underestimate this enough. Sheffield United are a fucking good team. They've been in great form for ever since Chris Wilder, ever since the Still City derby, really. Bramall Lane's been a very tough place to go, and Middlesbrough play like that. And they're playing great football along the way as well. Yeah, Kim Hellberg, you cannot underestimate the job he has done and how he's managed to, improve things so substantially as he has. And I think we've also got to talk about Justin, because when I was driving home earlier and I was looking ahead to this game, thinking about it in my head, I did think to myself, do you remember where we had Middlesbrough in our pre-season predictions at the start of the season?
It was sort of low mid-table.
We had them 15th.
That's Rob Edwards' Borough.
Well, I think there maybe is that. I think it's easy to forget now that we had them around there. I mean, Middlesbrough fans may not forget that, but it wasn't like many other people really had them in the top six. I doubt any other content creators who are neutrals like us had them finish in the top six, let alone finish in the top two, possibly even champions of the division. But that's where they are now. And the reason for that is because so many individuals have just really taken their game to a new level this season, haven't they?
Well, yeah, exactly. You've got the likes of Luke Ayling, who's having a real purple patch of form at the tail end of his career. Matt Targett's been arguably one of the most consistent defenders in the division. He's had to play centre half as well and fullback. He's been brilliant. Solbrin has really stepped up as well, because goalkeeper's been a big issue for Boro for a while. And he's really stepped up this season. Obviously homegrown. Even Tommy Conway. Tommy Conway, I think, is what you get when you stick with a player who's not scoring goals but does so much for the team, because his work rate is fantastic, and now he's getting amongst the goals, he's getting the rewards. And even more Morgan Whittaker, I think Rob Edwards turning Morgan Whittaker's form around deserves a mention. We can't label Rat Edwards all the time, but the Whittaker resurgence started under him, but he's taken his game onto a new level under Hellberg as well. So it's every single player. Hayden Hackney is embracing his role. Alan Brown's been fantastic as well. He's been brilliant. Yeah. So I would say every single player has stepped up to the plate, and this is what you get when you've got a good coach, a good group, and you couldn't have foreseen that at the start of the season, because so many players were out of form from last season. But what Hellberg's done is he's taken him to a new level. He really has.
Yeah, and I mean, Middlesbrough fans may not like me saying it, but I think we do have to credit Rob Edwards, or Rat Edwards, however you want to coin him, as well, for, you know, getting things going earlier on in the season. Because you look at a lot of these players here, a lot of them were at Middlesbrough last season and were underperforming. But, you know, the coaching from two managers this season, particularly Hellberg, has just completely transformed so many of them. I'm surprised you didn't mention Callum Britton, Justin, because I think there's a fair case now that he's got to be seen as signing of the season. There may be someone else I'm forgetting in that regard, but you look at how much he cost from Blackburn in the summer, he's definitely up there, and how much of an impact he's had for Boro. I mean, Hayden Hackney, one of the best players in the division, without a doubt. Morgan Whittaker, you look at where he is now compared to where he was 6 months ago. It's just complete transformation. Aidan Morris, a fantastic player. And you're right to mention Tommy Conway. Even though he's not a natural goal scorer, I don't think that's outrageous to say. Just his work rate and, you know, stretching the play, he's just so good at that. And that's why he hasn't been dropped this season. But, you know, they've had so many players filling in different positions. You know, Alfie Jones was brilliant earlier in the season. Addison Melander's come in now, who has just been why didn't they get him in the summer? Because they actually signed him in the summer, and he's only just come in January. We've actually got a question here from Duckfather, who says, how big of an impact has Addison Melander had since joining from MLS? He looks like an absolute beast, Justin.
He does. He's so good with the ball as well. I think that deserves a mention. There was a ball he played. He sprayed it out to the right flank from the central position in the second half, and it's just like, well, okay, he's got a bit about him with the ball as well. He's a very good player. And when you're signing defenders, it's hard, especially when they come from overseas, especially from the MLS. But we've actually seen quite a few decent players come in from the MLS, over the winter period, and I'll count Melander in that. And I guess that's seen as a positive for the MLS. But with Melander, he's transformed that Boro defence, because it was always an uncertain thing for me, and it was always a makeshift thing, because they've had a lot of defensive injury problems over the past, I want to say 2 years. They've really struggled to have
particularly
a defender.
This season.
Yeah. They've really struggled to have a defender who's going to make 40 odd appearances in a season, especially centre half. But you know, Melander coming in and having the impact he's had, it is absolutely massive, because I think it gives them a bona fide ball playing defender as well. He's really good at it, really confident with the ball, and you need that.
Yeah, absolutely. They've won every game with him so far, which is, you know, that's always a good start when to your Boro career, isn't it? But yeah, he has been absolutely brilliant so far, and they paid a lot of money to get him. But you're looking at him now thinking, if Boro do go up, he's someone who looks instantly like a Premier League quality defender. And it also helps that you've got an experienced player like Luke Ayling alongside him, who's just been having one of the most ridiculous, you know, turnarounds, you know, rejuvenations, moving more centrally. And he's been fantastic as well. But Yeah, I mean, you can go through this whole Boro side and say everyone's been fantastic. Even someone like Sol Bryn, who at times this season, I don't know, he's been good, but he's not someone who's been outstanding on too many occasions. But he was outstanding tonight. We've got a comment here from Astrophobia who says Sol Bryn was my man of the match tonight. We don't win that without Bryn's saves. And again, I'll give that a shout out for that Gus Harmer save, because that was a world class save without a doubt. So Middlesbrough looking very, very good. And this time next week, Justin, things could get even better because they have moved top of the league tonight, but they could extend that lead next Monday because they go to the CBS Arena to face Coventry in a proper how's your mother. Justin, Middlesbrough could go 5 points clear if they win that game. But when you look at how Coventry have been playing recently, but more importantly, how Middlesbrough played in this brilliant performance against Sheffield United, they have got every reason to be fancying their chances, haven't they?
They do. I was talking about confidence earlier. I saw a comment from a fan. Just tells you where Coventry are. It's not the CBS Arena, it's the IBS Arena. You know, things have really, really dropped off in that sense. You don't know what IBS is, do you?
No.
Irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. It's a poorly stomach, basically. So that tells you where Coventry fans are, and that's the transformation. The Boro fans at Bramwell Lane were brilliant, and it feels like there's belief growing. Of course, belief is dangerous because the Championship can really, really smack you in the face with it, but why not? Why not? When you're winning games the way Middlesbrough are doing, then you've got a right to believe. Absolutely, you've got a right to have a fair bit of joy at this stage of the season. And like you said, they go to Coventry next week full of it, full of joy, full of confidence. And
against a team who aren't very confident, most crucially.
Exactly. And that's a very, very important thing going into games now, because Coventry can't score, Middlesbrough can score. Middlesbrough have done it all. They've done it all. I don't think Coventry have. The way they manage games, I just don't think Coventry have done it quite the way Middlesbrough have done it.
Well, as we said, they're playing their best football of the season. So when you look at their trajectory compared to where they were just before Hellberg came in, they only seem to be going up and up and up. And it's a very good time to be a Middlesbrough fan because they are watching their team playing some unbelievable football while at the same time getting the results on the board and 6 wins on the bounce. Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment I see that run of form stopping, because if it's not stopping at a place like Bramall Lane, which is a really tough place to go, then yeah, they're definitely going to be heading into that Coventry game with a bit between their teeth, aren't they? Let's quickly look at this game from a Sheffield United perspective, Justin, because we've got a few comments here from Blades fans. Andy here says, fair play to Boro. They deserve the win. United were too open tonight and made too many mistakes. I feel that's a bit harsh, really. I think they just got taken apart by a very good Middlesbrough side. Yeah. Chris here says, I fancy Sheffield United to push for the playoffs after watching that. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Because as we say, I don't think Sheffield United did an awful lot wrong there. They just came up against a very good Boro side, but they had the moments, didn't they? I think we can absolutely say that. So I guess the question is always with them is, can they still salvage a playoff place, Justin? They will need to overcome an 8-point gap if they are going to do that. 10 places to climb with 15 games to go. You watch them in a game like this, I think they were just a very good side, outdone by an even better side.
Yeah, well, I think the key for Chris Wilder is to really drum home the fact that there's not a lot wrong with the performance. You can argue that they were open at times, but Middlesbrough were in a mood where they were really going to punish anyone. Could have been anyone that they played. They would have the outcome would have been the same, I think. So there's maybe some credence to that, but like I said, I don't think Sheffield United did an awful lot wrong. It became a tennis match at one point, but actually the way Sheffield United were getting in behind was a very positive thing. Overcoming an 8-point gap, getting into the top 6 is a difficult thing to do in 15 games. You've got to go on in an almighty run of form to get into it. The benefit that Sheffield United have got is they look confident tonight. Andre Brooks was brilliant. He was brilliant. Femi Siriki was fantastic. I thought Sidney Peck was really, really positive. Gus Harmer as well. Callum O'Hare looked lively, and Patrick Bamford was great. There's not a lot I can pick apart from the individuals in that team. So there's confidence there. I would hope it stays there as well. I think the other benefit they've got is there's a lot of teams vying for sixth place who are very inconsistent. So if you've got a team here in Sheffield United who can go out and win the next 3 games in a row, get a couple of draws, afford to lose one, win another 3 games, you can get in the top 6. You can, because the teams above them are not consistent enough. It's now about consistency, knuckling down and getting that bit between your teeth, like Middlesbrough have. That's how you get in the top 6.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair comment, all of that. And people may look at Sheffield United's recent results. They've only got 2 wins in 6, but I mean, some of those results in there aren't exactly bad. Losing against Middlesbrough, who are probably right now the best team in the division, that's going to happen. They lost to Charlton, but that was after they had 2 men sent off in the first half, so we can discount that, I guess, to a degree, even though it was their own fault that 2 players got sent off. And then they lost to Southampton, which was, Southampton are a good side, but if my memory serves me correctly, I think Sheffield United were probably the better team in that game. But look, they beat Ipswich a couple of weeks ago. They drew away at Millwall. There were some good results in there. It's just getting these tough games out of the way, I guess, and then just trying to build some consistency, as you say. And look, they've played Ipswich twice now, they've played Middlesbrough twice, so they can look at that as a cause for encouragement. I mean, you look at their upcoming games. They've got Sheffield United coming up next weekend. They've got the Steel City Derby, which usually would be a tricky game, but Sheffield Wednesday voucher. And then they've got Coventry at home after that. And if Coventry are playing like anything like they are now, when by the time that game comes around, then they'll definitely be fancying their chances there. So there's definitely the possibility for the Blades to pick up a head of steam in that time. 15 games to go. The time is, ticking down for them to try and overcome that gap. And it's a bit mad, really, that Sheffield United have played pretty well now for 2 or 3 months, yet still find themselves 16th and quite a way off the playoffs. But, when you look at a game like this, they are not the 16th best team in the division, are they? Quite frankly. It just goes to show how shit they were earlier in the season. They're still having to overcome that really bad start. But as you say, they've got as good a chance as anyone, I think, because they've got all the quality. Gus Harmer was unbelievable tonight and didn't really deserve to be on the losing side. So yeah, it's just about building that form. And then the other problem they've got, I guess, is that it looks increasingly like there's only going to be one playoff place available, but you wouldn't say no to Sheffield United being the team to get that, would you?
No, this is what I mean. A lot of teams above them are inconsistent. Derby beat Bristol City 5-0 and then were relatively comfortably beaten at home to Ipswich the following week. Likewise, Wrexham, they lose at home to was it Norwich? Was it Birmingham? I can't remember who they lost at home to now. They lost at home at the week. Millwall, that was it. It was Millwall.
Yeah.
So there's not really a team who's really grabbing 6th place by the shoulders and saying it's ours. They're not doing that. So that's why Sheffield United have got a really good chance. But like I said, it's consistency. That's the important thing. You've got to go on your winning streaks. It's a hard thing to do at this stage of the season, but it feels like Sheffield United are still fresh. It feels like they're still fresh. What I mean by that is Coventry aren't fresh, for example. Yeah, they were fresh in October. You're peaking at the right time, like Middlesbrough, and I think Sheffield United can do it as well. So yeah, 6th place is definitely up for grabs. Definitely.
Let's go to the polls, ladies and gents. This is where we put out 3 questions for our viewers here on the YouTube live stream tonight to get their thoughts on everything that we've just been talking about here tonight. So the first question, Justin, are Middlesbrough going up? Yes or no?
It feels like they are. It's one of them evenings where you go, yeah, this team's going to get promoted.
Yeah, this feels like a significant game in that regard, doesn't it? Not just because the obvious, they've gone top of the league now, but when you're looking for statement performances which say this team is going up, I don't think you can get much better evidence than that. 94% of people said yes. Only 6%, of course, said no. We've got a comment here from Richard who says it was Kim Hellberg's 14th game tonight, same as Snaky Edwards. He's taken 5 more points and engineered a 12-point swing on Coventry. His departure may be the best thing that could have ever happened to us. Can't believe Kim Hellberg's managed as many games as Rob Edwards now. Doesn't seem right, does it? But yeah, there you go.
It's time, isn't it? It's time.
Yeah, time is an illusion. This next one, will Sheffield United finish in the playoffs? Yes or no?
I based on the math right now, no. But like
Yeah.
I said, there's a really, really good chance that they can.
Yeah, the odds aren't in their favour, but you would say that actually the odds are definitely more likely than you would for a normal 16th place side, is what I would say. But I worded that very poorly. 79% of people said no, Sheffield United will not finish in the playoffs this season. 21% said yes, they will. And finally, will Rob Edwards be regretting leaving Boro? Yes or no, Justin?
I think he regretted it like 3 weeks after when Wolves were still losing games. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a stupid decision. I think he was lucky to get the job. So absolutely, he will regret it.
I'm not sure it was a stupid decision. I think we could probably have another chat about that another time on another permanent ticket, a better occasion than this. But 79% of people said yes, and 21% said no. But there you go, ladies and gents. This has been the Second Tier Podcast, and this has been our reaction off the back of Middlesbrough's statement 2-1 win away at Sheffield United tonight. A huge game. And a huge consequence of that result, because it means we have a new leader at the top of the Championship for the first time since the 4th of October. A big game in the grand scheme of this Championship season. We'll be back again on Thursday to be talking about all the midweek action which we've got in the Championship. We've got a handful of games coming up in the Championship, so we look forward to seeing you again for that. We'll be back again on Sunday as well for another live stream. It's Sunday on 6:30 on Sunday evening, so we look forward to seeing you then for that. And we'll be back again next Monday as well for another live stream off the back of that huge game, Coventry v Middlesbrough. Doesn't get as big as that, does it? Come on then. So we look forward to seeing you then for that as well. But this has been the Second Tier Podcast. I've been Ryan Dilks.
I've been Justin Peach.
And a big thank you for watching.